Yeah, so welcome to our kind of virtual happy hour. When we were kind of thinking of something to do, kind of around Christmas time, actually, we thought of kind of doing some kind of competition. And so that's kind of how we came up with the VIZBREW competition. So some of you may not know about it yet, and so we'll kind of go into detail about it. But we basically did a visualization competition that we post on our LinkedIn as Dave's trying to figure out how to pause the presentation. But we basically did this competition, and anyone could submit. They could submit through Tableau Public. They didn't have to be from St. Louis, but our data was St. Louis brewery data. And so we actually have our top 3 finalists, and then we're going to reveal the winner at the end as well. But they're going to kind of go through what they made and how they kind of thought through it. So you'll kind of see 3 different approaches to the same data set. And if they brought in more data, things like that. So that's kind of our big agenda today, but we obviously have a couple things we want to kind of go through that you might not know about with Tableau, of different things that they've kind of put out there, especially virtually, that might be kind of helpful as you're kind of developing your Tableau skills. So with that, the first thing I want to talk about is the Data Literacy for All program. So I think this was released like about 3 months ago, I would say. It's a free Tableau e-learning. It's a really good program. Anyone can go sign up for it. There will be kind of the QR code for this, but it's really almost tool agnostic. It's not necessarily about how to do data in Tableau. It's more of getting those like fundamental data literacy skills. So really understanding how to talk about data, how to truly explore it, how to kind of look at outliers, how to talk about outliers, things that, are kind of foundational skills for someone that works with data, and not even someone that works on it day to day in a program, but also when you need to talk to a leader about the data and have those kind of conversations. So even at our company, I work for RGA. We kind of offer this up to our leaders first and said this is just something really good to kind of go through. And you can kind of go and kind of look at this from whether you are a developer or you are someone that's consuming the data. But it is a really cool program Tableau is putting out there because they realized that there was that gap if someone might make a beautiful dashboard, but someone's not understanding the data. And so this is kind of a way for them to kind of bring a program there that anyone can sign up for. So there is a QR code there, but if you Google Data Literacy for All Tableau, you will find it. It's a free program. I definitely highly encourage it. I think it's only about 6 hours, so it's not something that will take you days and days to do, and they have kind of steps that you can go through. But it's a great e-learning program that I definitely recommend for you guys. So that's our first kind of housekeeping item. The next one is more of kind of a call for speakers. So we'll see if it pops up. As we kind of plan 2021, and we will be kind of going through some of our plans for 2021, we highly encourage you to reach out to us. So whether you want to speak, and we really encourage people to come speak, it helps your skills. It's a great way to kind of show off what you're doing, even if it's something that you're not doing at work, it's just kind of a side project. Or if you want to be very vague about something from work, whatever you'd like. We would love to hear from our St. Louis community, because we can only come up with so many ideas that we talk about, and we only know the companies we work for. So we love to hear more from other people in the community. So if you kind of have something that you would like to share, we definitely recommend that you reach out to us. This is a form that you can fill out that we look at, but you can also reach out to us on LinkedIn, anything like that as well. And then there might be something too where you come to these different speaker series and stuff, and you realize that you haven't heard about a topic that you want to hear about. Just reach out to us and tell us about that. You don't have to be the person to speak about it. Maybe it's somewhere that you just wish you learned more about with Tableau. Tell us about it, because we might not be thinking about it. We might need that idea. So please feel free to reach out to us, just with any kind of tips or things that you would like to hear about, because this is for all of us, not just us as co-leads to organize. So we'd love to kind of hear what you guys have to say. That all being said, we actually have a LinkedIn group that you can go to. So this is somewhere where you can connect with other people in the area. I think there's about 200 or so people on there. We highly encourage you to kind of post anything that you're doing. This is where you'll find about the next user group. You'll find, when we did this Viz competition, that's one of the main places that we posted it on. So if you haven't joined this, we really encourage it. And especially around COVID time, if you have an opportunity or anything like that, we highly encourage you kind of post that for the St. Louis community, just kind of as a learning space for all of us, so that when we do have these programs and these kind of housekeeping items, it's somewhere we can post and talk about them and kind of have those discussions when we can't meet together. So it's just kind of a great virtual space for us to have, especially kind of in these times. And then last but not least, I think is our feedback. Yeah. So as we kind of go through these different groups, we definitely want to kind of hear your opinion. As I said, very similar to kind of our call for speakers. We want to hear what you guys like and don't like about what we're putting on. Maybe you want to have it more frequently. Maybe you want to have different types of speakers. We'd love to hear your opinions. This is for you guys. So this is our forum. I'll kind of pause it out here, but this is just for us to get feedback on what we could be doing differently. Maybe you've seen something in internal user groups that you thought was a good idea. Anything, we love to hear your ideas, hear how we're doing. It helps us to just kind of gauge the community and really kind of make sure we're doing what's actually important. So with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Dave, who actually kind of was the main organizer of this visualization competition and found the data and everything. And he'll kind of introduce you to the next part of the agenda. So.
Thanks, Elsa.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so as Elsa mentioned, this was our first ever visualization competition. Other cities have these all the time. They're called Viz Games. We tried to come up with what we thought would be a catchy title since we were looking at brewery data. We called it the St. Louis TUG VIZBREW. So, you know, making a Viz isn't 100% dissimilar to brewing beer, right? You have to start with your raw materials and, you know, make something that is tasty, at least to the eye. So, you know, we threw this out there in the middle of December, hoping that the Christmas holiday or the winter holidays would give people time to participate. You know, I'm pretty happy for our first ever competition to have 6 people participate. So thank you all to those folks who joined us for the competition. And really happy to have the top 3 finalists here with us this evening to demonstrate their Vizes. So without further ado, we will step into and we'll let Salman introduce himself. And just so everyone's aware, all of these links to the Vizes will be posted on the LinkedIn group. The links that Elsa went through earlier will also be shared there. If you have any questions for the authors while they are demonstrating their Viz or talking through their Viz, so as I try to click through them with the presenters, go ahead and put those in the chat, and Ryan and JJ will keep an eye on that. But let's step into Salman's Viz.
All right, I hope everyone can hear me okay. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you all today. I'm a software developer at MasterCard, working with the analytics and automation team to deliver metrics and insight to many business functions, from accounting, financial planning to help desk. I work with Alteryx and Tableau day in and day out, and I have a strong passion for APIs. Not only APIs themselves, but the way they work and the way they make this world of internet connected to one another. For my dashboard, I use the data set that the amazing user group leaders came up with, and I processed it using the Yelp Fusion API. So the Yelp API allowed searching for the location and gave you kind of like the closest match to the location you entered. And so what I did was I built a fuzzy match logic and Alteryx to take care of the ones that really didn't match what was the business I was after. And then what I really wanted to show in my dashboard, besides obviously the fact that Missouri has better breweries than Illinois, was for you to find your ultimate brewery experience in these states. So on the top left corner, what you can see is the weighted ratings of Missouri and Illinois by the count of reviews. On the right side, you will see the top 10 cities, excluding any cities that have less than 100 reviews. Because I'm a city kind of guy, and hello, a lot of suburban locations with one brewery has a 5-star. Also, I was very happy to use the include function to be able to get that weighted rating correctly on those cities and using it for the first time. So clicking on these cities on the bar chart, what it will do is using a set action, it'll locate the actual city in the map, and it'll also filter down to where is the booze. And so Using that, you can filter down to other different areas, and then you can unclick to get rid of all of your filtering. And so the bubble size in the right-hand corner in the bottom, the map, represent the count of reviews, and the color represents the rating. On the bottom left, what I wanted you to get a feel of the restaurant's price and rating and how they affect each other using a scatter plot. And you can filter to different cities to make a better judgment and understand further if price affects rating in certain areas as well. So, yep, this pretty much sums up my dashboard. Feel free to explore it in my Tableau public, download it, break it, and let me know what you think maybe on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thanks, Salman. Do we have any questions for Salman? All right, we'll move on, and we may have some questions coming in momentarily, but oops, 1 second. All right, next we have Julie to talk to us about her beer is better when it's local dashboard.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, great. So I took a little bit of a different approach with this. When the challenge was kind of offered, I thought it kind of sounded fun. So my head kind of started going like out of the box, more of focusing on kind of the experience. I should back up, sorry. I work at Edward Jones on the visualization team. So I work with a lot of financial data. And so this was kind of a different data. It's something fun to kind of play around with, deal with charts and graphs and a lot of that kind of stuff all day, and don't really get the opportunity to deal with maps. Don't do a lot, or haven't so far done a lot of stuff with maps. So that was definitely something that kind of was intriguing to me, was kind of the work with maps. I remember at the Tableau conference this year, they talked about like the make point, and I thought that was kind of cool, how you could pick a distance or pick a point and then pick how far you wanted to go. And then they would give you all of those, points or destinations within that, that point that you pick. So it was kind of the way that I went. So I played with the data set a lot, and then kind of decided to do on this, like, beer is better when it's local, support local, kind of, again, selling everybody kind of on the experience. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to get a chance to talk about it. So if you click in the upper left-hand corner, you'll kind of see like this overlay that pops up that kind of just walks you through the dashboard on what to do. So kind of starting at one, what's this dashboard all about? And then kind of talking to, okay, where do you want to start? And then once you've picked your starting point, how far are you willing to venture? And then based on that, to the right is all of their list of possible stops that you could go to. So if we click back out of this, I kind of replayed David's message on YouTube on the challenge several times to kind of wrap my head around where I was going to go. And if you click on the information icon, it kind of just sums up what he said in the challenge, that throughout the history of St. Louis, local breweries have never been played such a big part in the local economy, and there's never been so many. So my thought was, what better than to just grab a bunch of friends, pick where you want to go, and kind of do this day drinking, bar hopping kind of experience. So if you click over on the map, you'll actually notice that it's clicked on Exit 6 Brewery in St. Charles now. But if you click anywhere else on the map, you'll see that the icon itself recolors and reshapes. I didn't go, or resizes. I didn't go too crazy on the sizes. But the other point that I picked out of here was the difference between a microbrewery and a brew pub. And the biggest thing that I found was that brew pubs actually have food as well. So very important factor when you're going to go bar hopping and day drinking is that you might want to pick a couple places that also have a restaurant within them. So basically kind of pick your starting point. How far do you want to venture? Is there food there? And then based on the right, here's your choices. I did bring in some reviews so that you could kind of gauge by what people are saying about the place. If you hover over any of the destinations on the right, it also kind of shows you where they're located on the map. So you do have a list, but if you're really interested in one, you can hover and kind of see where it's located. If you're really into one, if you click on the destination itself over in the table, it'll kind of bring up more of the contact information. So if you want to know a little bit more about it, you could click there and call. If you click on the website, it'll take you straight to the website. And then if you, so you can get to know a little bit more about it. And then if you want door-to-door directions, if you click on the brewing at the bottom, it'll take you to Google Maps, and it will default to where you can input your current location, and it will default to the brewery that you've chosen to go to. So it's simple, clean is kind of what I was looking for. Again, wanted to play with the map, so I kind of had some fun with that, playing with that make point. And my new favorite thing is parameter actions. I thought it was really cool that I could input all these blank parameters and then just be able to click. The map itself is on a zip code, right? But like, who knows what zip code they're going to. So based on this longitude, latitude of this zip code, I'm able to display what I want on the top by the name of the brewery, the city, and the state by using these parameter actions that are just empty parameters, that the action of clicking on the map actually displays what you're reading, so the title of where you're going, and then the stops that are within that way of how long you've chosen to travel. So always wanted to kind of remind everybody, support local, and always also drink responsibly and designate a driver if you're going to go on a beer trip. So that was kind of mine. Again, kind of just selling the experience, having fun with some things I don't get to normally play with as the map, and really just wanting everybody to kind of like the look and feel and just want to play with the dashboard, just hoping it was intriguing enough to make you want to click around and play with it. So that's kind of my story.
Julie to win. Edward Jones.
Hey, keep yourself muted. You Edward Jones people, you're trouble. No, I'm just kidding. Julie, I think it's great. I think it's excellent. The one thing that I really like is this, actually. You know, it's like that social responsibility part, and you know, supporting local, I think, is huge. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's see if we can change screens a little more seamlessly this time. All right, next we have Lauren, who will introduce herself as well.
Hi, my name is Lauren Ingursky. I also work for Edward Jones. I work on the analytics team. I've been using Tableau for about 3 years, but I primarily use Tableau for data exploration and data analysis. So that not as strong as some of the BI analysts on the visual side, but definitely I love using Tableau for just exploring the data. So that's kind of where I went down this path. When I initially got the data set, the first thing I did was throw it on a map, and was a little bit overwhelmed with just the number of breweries in such a small area. So where my mind went was, if I wanted to plan a beer trip, how would I even start to determine what brewery I wanted to start with? So I went to gather some more data to help me determine what breweries I would want to go to. So I pulled in some data from Google to get the ratings of each of the breweries, and then also some data from Beer Advocate to get the list of beers that are available at these places and what the ratings of those beers are. So on the left-hand side, this is what I've titled, what a St. Louis drink. So I wanted to get an idea of what's popular in the area, thinking that if other people are liking it, then there's a good chance that I will like it as well. So I started with what are the most popular breweries. So just rank the top 10 based on their number of reviews, and then sorted them by their Google review. And then if you hover over the bar, you'll just get their address and then also their URL link. And then if you click on it, it filters to the map to where you can get a sense of where is this brewery located. So after I kind of worked through what are the most popular breweries, my mind went down the path of, okay, now that I know what breweries I kind of want to go to, what are the popular beer styles? So in terms of beer styles, I looked at it 2 different ways. The first one was, what are the breweries brewing? So thinking that if they're brewing a lot of IPAs, for example, that's what's popular in the area. So you can see IPAs, the #1 beer brewed by the breweries within the St. Louis area. So there's 500 currently on tap. If you click on any of those bars, it filters down your map to just the breweries that currently have an IPA on tap. And then if you hover over a specific brewery, it shows just their list of, it filters their what's on tap list to just the IPAs. So if there's a style you're really looking for, that's a good place to filter to plan your trip. If you look on the bottom right-hand corner, so this is looking at beer styles again, but I looked at it not from the brewery's lens, but from the consumer's lens. So what are the top beer styles based on the average rating of those specific beers within those styles? So the #1 beer style based on beer rating is the mild ale, with an average rating of 3.2. And you can see that there are currently 10 mild ale style beers on tap in the St. Louis area across 10 different breweries. And then your map filtered down to what those 10 breweries are. And again, you can hover to find out what is that specific beer that they have on tap in that style. And then the bottom right is just the top 10 highest rated beers. This one I thought was pretty interesting because the top 10 beers, they all fall within 2 breweries. That's not something that I would have expected. So I thought that was kind of cool. So when you hover over them, you can see what's the specific style of that beer, and then also what's the beer or what's the brewery. And again, if you click on it, it filters down to the brewery. If you hover over any of the breweries, the top section, this is kind of just a quick hit of what's the brewery's profile. So if I'm playing with the map, I can look at that top bar to get a sense of what's the popularity of this brewery. So I did popularity. I just cut the population into 3 and just high, medium, low based on their number of Google reviews. And then you also get their Google rating. You can see the number of Google reviews, how many beer styles they have on tap, and then what are the number of individual beers and the average rating of their beers. And then what's on tap. According to Beer Advocate, this is what they have on tap. It's broken down by style, and then within style, it's ordered by the specific beers, ordered by the beer rating. And then the coloring is also on beer rating. So if you unclick or unfilter that, the map itself, it's shaded on Google rating. So the darker the yellow, the higher the rating. That's all I had.
All right, and I jumped the gun on Julie's. I just want to make sure nobody has any questions for either Julie or Lauren.
Lauren, you're awesome.
Hey, everybody's awesome. Everybody that participated is awesome.
Everybody is awesome.
Thanks, Jessica. I think that's you. Yeah, excellent job from everybody. So this is where it really gets interesting now. So we're going to do a St. Louis TUG VIZBREW fan vote. So can everybody see my screen again, or the PowerPoint?
Yep.
All right, perfect. All right, so this is the deal. You have 2 minutes. I'm going to tell you how to vote, but we're going to leave it open just for 2 minutes. Otherwise, you know, people might like email their family and say, vote for me. But this is for the last bit of the prize. So we had some really great prizes, both from Tableau and 3 local breweries. So really awesome that we're able to do that. And big thanks to Jim from Tableau, who's on the phone, for being able to help us get some prizes. But we will be in contact with you 3 regarding the prizes and what you won following our reveal of who won. But we're now going for the fan vote, which is the last piece of the prize package. So, all right, 2 minutes is going to start in just a moment. But this is how you make your fan vote. Text that code, my name, David Vlecka, 544 to 22333, and you can vote for 1 viz. If you change your vote, it erases the prior vote. So you can't vote for yourself 25 times or anything like that, but you'll text A if you want Salman, B for Julie, or C for Lauren. So in the exact same order we just went through. So I'll give you about 30 more seconds here so you can see the code, and then I will jump to a big timer. I wish I had some background music to play while we wait. All right, 2 minutes starts now. Maybe.
Is there supposed to be a response when you send your vote in?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Let me go make sure that the votes are coming
Just
through.
checking.
Yep. I think it's a good thing to check. Let me go make sure that the votes are coming through. And they're definitely coming through. So I can see them now.
Did everybody have time to get the codes that they needed?
If you didn't, here's the.
We can post it in the chat too.
I'll share again. Let me know.
Those QR codes were awesome addition, by the way. It was super easy for me to just open up my camera and then send them to my work email so that I can go through them and do what I need to do tomorrow. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I wasn't even on the LinkedIn group. That was cool.
Yeah, me either.
All right, sorry. Here's the code.
Lost the screen entirely.
It should be back now, right?
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
sharing
we can
again.
see it.
your PowerPoint slide, yeah. And the chat window now too.
Perfect. Oops. 6 seconds. Did everybody have a chance to vote?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So I'm gonna deactivate this bad boy. So Julie, you win the fan vote with 47% of the vote. Lauren came in second, and Salman at third with 20%. So congratulations, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who competed as well. Fun.
Okay. All right. Now we get to reveal the winner. So without further ado, let's go through the judging criteria. So really quick, 3 points were judged for the Vizes. So all of the Vizes went through the exact same judging process. The judges were the five, I think five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us that are the St. Louis Tableau user group leads. But we judge on analysis. So how mature are the questions that are asked of the Viz? What questions are being asked of that data? What are the insights? Is it clear what the author was going after? So, you know, what are the best breweries in the area? Or how can I plan a trip to those breweries? The next was design. So a possible score of 10 points from each judge. How thoughtful is that design? Does it incorporate the questions that the author's trying to ask in the analysis portion? Is it visually pleasing? Are the visualization types appropriate? Almost anything would have been appropriate for this, but you know, on other things, you know, are we using line charts for things that don't make sense? And then the final one is storytelling, also 10 points. Is the Viz using the data to tell the viewer a story? Is that message intuitive? Does it have to be explained by somebody? How well do the other elements, analysis and design, play into the story? All right. And also, like I said earlier, thank you very much to everybody who participated. We're going to do another one of these coming up in this summer, hopefully, and really hoping to get additional people participating. And then finally, a big thank you to our sponsors. So I mentioned it earlier, but Urban Chestnut donated beer and a gift card. Petrichor donated a gift card, and Point Labadee Brewery donated a certificate that's valid for a shirt or a hat and a growler and a fill. So quite a bit of prizes to be given away here. And also thank you to Jim. We're not putting Tableau as an official sponsor, but thank you to Tableau. All right, so now for real, without further ado, third place. So how we're going to do this is we'll reveal who won third place, and then the St. Louis Tableau user group leads will provide any immediate feedback. As I mentioned earlier, I believe all of the Vizes that were submitted will receive their feedback. We'll keep the scores, you know, to ourselves unless anybody really feels the need to know those. But here we go. So third place, we have Lauren with her St. Louis Brews data viz. So congratulations on third place. You have a lovely prize package that's sitting in my basement over here. So congratulations. Any of the judges want to provide any feedback or ask any questions of Lauren?
Sure. This is Ryan. I'll go ahead and go first. Loved that you tapped into so many different data sources to do this. There was a lot to look at, a lot to think about. Couple of things that stood out to me as maybe improvements that you could make or to take it a little bit further. As I was looking through it, I'd get to the point where I'd have another question and I'd feel like I should click on something and the question would be answered. And I felt like the data was there and I just couldn't quite get to it. But the story that you have, and actually as you were presenting it, there were things that it did that I didn't even realize it was doing when I was going through it. So you have a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot of data. You really did a good job of bringing all the things together. Like the colors, like the black background worked really well for it. So I thought you did a really nice job on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go next. So I completely agree with Ryan, not Brian. He's not here. I know that you have the data, and I think that's kind of the frustrating thing for me. I thought it was really good, but when I click on Four Hands Brewery, I would like to see the number of IPAs that they have, or what their highest rated beer styles are, or their highest rated beers. I know you have that data because you couldn't have done this without it. So you couldn't have made the map interact with the bars if you didn't have that data. So, tying all 5 of the elements together, I think would have elevated it that much more. And also agree with Ryan. There were things that you kind of explained that I had no clue, that I missed on my first probably 30 minutes with the Viz. So, but overall, really good job.
Yeah, thank you.
I can go
Yeah,
next.
so
Oh,
Good. no, go ahead.
John,
Alpha.
you want to go?
Okay. All right. So when I started using this Viz, I'm not a big beer drinker, but you answered so many questions that I found this Viz really useful. I found myself playing with it and just answering all the different questions and looking at where they were located. And I also thought you packed a lot of information into one Viz, like when you did the Viz in tooltips, where you can hover over the Viz on the right-hand side and the new Viz popped up, and then you had the ratings sorted and all those different things. The only thing I would change, and I don't know if it's possible, is on the right-hand side with the map, you can zoom in and out. And I don't know if it's possible to make that just stand there. But I enjoyed the Viz. It answered questions. It piqued my curiosity, and I really was able to do some data exploration with it. Go ahead, Elsa.
Thanks, Sean. What I really liked about yours was even just the most popular beer styles. You're really kind of the only one that I saw do that approach of, what do you want to drink today? Which I think for me is actually usually how I pick a brewery that I'm going to go to is, do I want a wheat beer today or an IPA? So I really appreciated that. I didn't even think of using the data that way. So I really liked that. I really liked the colors. So we deal a lot with colorblind friendly palettes, and I could automatically see that yours was colorblind friendly, which is really appreciated in data visualization. I guess the one thing that I would kind of add that's a quick thing is I would think it'd be really cool if you had a way that you actually change the coloring on the map to almost correspond with what you're clicking on over here. So what I mean by that is maybe when it's IPAs and you're clicking on those, you can make it where it actually changes the colors to show, where maybe IPAs are and stuff, and maybe use the rankings of those a little bit differently. But I thought it would be cool if you could somehow incorporate a little bit more of kind of that color that you have there, maybe make the dots a little bit more transparent where you could see the coloring better, where I just kind of felt like I was missing that. But overall, I loved kind of the bar charts because it really did get me to kind of what I wanted to see and filter down really quickly. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you guys. That's wonderful feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like to add, I really enjoyed the kind of the 4 flavors of the ranked list. It just kind of, I don't know, to me, I looked at this, I'm like, okay, wow, okay, I just have a lot of questions, and I started clicking around, and I, noticed like the map was filtering and stuff, but then, the tooltips on the map is really what surprised me, and the layout and the information on that just really kind of, for me, kind of tied it together. And to Ryan's point, or I'm not sure if it was Ryan or David made this comment, but with the handful of data sources that you're using, I mean, you could take this. There's a lot of opportunity to take this a lot deeper, and clicking around and finding more insight. But I get it. Like, this was on your kind of your own time, and I totally get that. But the way you structured this was, and to get it this far, and I know that a lot of the data work and the data prep work is a lot of times the hardest part, or most time-consuming part. I really appreciate that. So great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll say there's a lot more positives than the negatives that we highlighted. So if you ask anybody that's ever worked for me, I'm probably a lot quicker to find the things that I don't like than the things I like. So I promise you, everything's positive. But just things to improve on next time.
No, they're wonderful.
Yeah, it was an amazing job that you did. It really was.
And I agree, guys. There is so much. Once I expanded the data, I was like, oh my gosh, I could go down so many rabbit holes. But it's like, how do I get myself to focus? So that's where I landed on the top 4. It's like, okay, focus here. Don't go farther.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Lauren, that's what I liked about it, because you focused and you answered the questions that I found that I would have been asking.
Yeah, Lauren, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share or anything like that?
I don't think so. After seeing Julie's viz and seeing the 1, 2, 3, 4, like guiding people, absolutely love that. And I think that's something that this dashboard would have super benefited from, to explain what the different actions we're doing and kind of guide you. So if I were to make one change tomorrow, I think that's probably what it would be.
Yeah. No, and I think one thing that you said about, you found your 4 areas that you wanted to focus on. I think that makes sense because, in the real world, when you're at work, you don't have forever to just dive into every rabbit hole. And if you did, you would never get done with the biz, and then you'd have frustrated customers. So no, it completely makes sense. So, all right, thank you very much. All right, second place. This is the big moment. But here we go. In second place, we have Salman. So let's go around the room of the judges again and see what the feedback is here. Ryan, do you want to start again?
I guess I went first, so I'm going to go first this time too. So Salman, looking at this, like, I love the simplicity in colors and design. Having the maps actually in 2 places, the kind of parallel view of that, it looks really great. The way you had the cities organized in bar charts was really easy to read. I could really tell what was going on there. And when I clicked on it, I could see what was happening. And so just the simplicity of the design of it was really good. And the way you use the API to bring that other data set in using fuzzy logic, I didn't dig into how it was designed, but was really impressed by the way you pulled that all together. In terms of like things that I looked at and kind of wondered like what could be done a little bit better, that price versus rating chart. I looked at it a few times, and I get what the idea is behind it, but the concentric circles confused me. And so I was wishing there was a legend or something like that. So if there was just a little bit more explanation that could exist in the viz, so that I didn't have to look at it quite so hard to try to figure it out, that would have been helpful for me. But overall, great job.
Thank you.
All right, I'll go next. So, I never knew that Missouri had better beer than Illinois, and I've never been so thankful to live in Missouri. So, number one, thank you for that. The one thing that not disappointed, but the one thing that I thought was kind of interesting was, and I did this on purpose when I came up with this data set, I gave you Missouri and Illinois, on purpose, just to see how people would treat that data. I kind of expected most people to filter that down to St. Louis. And I was curious, what that means for people, how far out it goes. And out of the 6, you were actually the only one to use the entire state, or entire both states. So just overall kind of interesting. I agree with Ryan. The colors across the top, or the kind of the upside down L, they're all, they all tie together, and it's very clear what they mean. But then we get into that bottom left-hand corner, the circles being concentric. I don't know if it's because there's so many stacked here that they line up. I understand that we're working with things that, are pretty much integers. There's not many decimals, except for maybe the half star. But I agree with Ryan. It gets a little blurry here. And then I didn't really understand the red. Is it just showing that, this is both a little bit more expensive and the rating's low, or what? It's a diverging colored chart, but it's not across both measures. So I thought that was a little maybe confusing, and maybe it is across both measures, but it's not immediately clear.
Yeah, it is rating. Yeah, but I get it. Makes sense.
So you have the ratings up here. Oh, does this go to red if I find ooh, I don't want to do that. I mean, not that we don't know.
No, we don't know.
Don't give it away.
But are there red dots somewhere on the map that I'm missing?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No, but yeah.
All right. That's it for me. Sean?
Yep. So I agree with everything David and Ryan said. I love the colors, and I love that it can answer a lot of questions with this viz. If I bump into some friends from Illinois who ask who has the best microbreweries, it's Missouri. And I can answer that question with this here. The viz on the lower left-hand corner, I kind of didn't understand it. So a legend would have helped with that again, and just some of the other guys said. But overall, I thought it was it's nice and clean, and it answers the questions that most people want to ask. So that's it for me. You're welcome.
I'll go next. I guess my 2 things I had too is really, like, I saw the title, like, what's buzzing around town, and I almost wanted to have where you have like your select city in the map. I almost wanted you to bring that up to the title, where I could kind of go, I'm in this city, I'm in Chesterfield. I click on it, everything kind of filters for me, and I'm now looking right at kind of the things I want to see. Even though I know that kind of the focus of location is really this bottom right graph, for me, naturally, that's kind of what I wanted to do, is kind of start to see, okay, how is mine maybe comparing to other cities? How am I looking, kind of using my almost city as the base, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where I kind of wanted that. And I remember kind of finding myself kind of zooming in and trying to filter down to St. Louis or Kansas City. I was curious about all of them, but I wanted to kind of look at them as subsets almost. And then I would say the only other thing is I really did like the question you were asking on the bottom left one of, does price affect rating? It actually kind of made me start thinking, does certain types of beer affect rating? Does certain areas affect rating? Where I was kind of, it almost made me more curious of like, what kind of data could I attach to this to start looking at ratings? So I'd say that was kind of the one thing I would maybe improve or add to it that I think could really make this bottom left chart really impactful, is just kind of, different ways that you could dig into how is the rating actually kind of calculated. Because I liked that you came up with that question, because it made me kind of think about other ways that I might want to look at this. So I did like that about it for sure. So
thank you.
Yeah.
JJ?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Same, I don't have anything really new to add, but other than So I thought, you know, like the first, the top two charts and then the map chart down at the bottom right, you know, that kind of completed the story. And with the price rating chart, that was a little confusing to me. That was actually kind of the first thing I started clicking on. And actually the kind of the way I start, if I'm trying to understand just a dashboard, I'll start kind of clicking on, you know, just like the most extreme data points on the spectrum. So like the first thing I started clicking on was that like 2.5 on the non-applicable red dot, and I wasn't seeing anything. Yeah. And I was like, maybe I'm missing something here, but you know, enough of that. You heard enough of our stance on that.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to know more is on the API that was lost on me. You know, I think that is, you know, kind of the you know, like I said, the data prep, the data engineering piece of that. You know, I think you took that. You took that pretty deep if you're kind of, you know, creating an API and doing some fuzzy matching and Alteryx. You know, but that's by looking at this dashboard, we'd have no idea, right? But yeah, I think that's a great concept, and yeah, I wish I would have known that kind of at first glance is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, absolutely, David. If you hover over the beer on the top right corner, it should describe a little bit. I know I didn't describe everything probably, but
oh,
it should be there.
That the info are that beer.
Yep,
okay.
The beer. Does it not show the tooltip?
Well, this is an image, so it doesn't.
Oh, got it.
I didn't want to have to jump back and forth again. So,
no.
All right. Salman, anything to add?
No, I appreciate all the feedback. Makes sense. Really good feedback. Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, so there's no more suspense. Our champion is Julie. So no more suspense, but still the champion's Julie. Congratulations. Ryan, with the feedback, I'll let you go first.
Okay, so Julie, the thing I think on this one, the thing that helped you win this is the cohesiveness of the story. How all the elements came together. You know, you click on the help icon, it tells you exactly what steps to click on. I click on the information icon, it gives me like why this exists. You differentiated between microbreweries and brew pubs. And the one piece of information that I didn't get from it when I was looking through it that came out when you were presenting was that the distance is actually from the center of the zip code, which is why we had some conversations when we were judging, like the distance didn't seem like it was calculating right. Now I understand why it was calculating from the center of the zip code, but that might be something if you were going to improve on it, like, okay, let's make that up front for the user under one of those icons or something like that. But overall, love the way you pulled the Yelp ratings in and allow people to change their filters and kind of build their own journey that they're trying to do. And then the entire dashboard was very cohesive with colors and the messaging, including the drinking responsibility and the hashtags and everything like that. So entire package went together really well.
Yeah, so I'll go next. Once again, agree on everything that Ryan said, especially on the positives. Full transparency, I couldn't get over the fact that Exit 6 Brewery was 2.0 miles away from itself. I would have forced that to be null or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's because it's just like seems so odd. And then the other thing that I thought was interesting, or that could have been changed slightly, was there's a big amount of real estate up here that's dedicated to explaining your icons. It's maybe, a third of this side, the right-hand side of the Viz. How could that have maybe been used a little bit more effectively? And then the color could have been done. I understand what you did here with the color, but at first I was thinking, how is a 3 a different color than a 3.5 or a 4.5? But overall, really good. Sean?
Yep. So agree with everything Dave and Ryan said. I like the, how you answer the, not tooltips, but when you hover over the question mark and when you get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I love that because it tells. Because at first glance, you might not know how to read the dashboard, but then when you hover over that, it tells you exactly how the dashboard should operate. For exit 6, so the 2 miles did throw me off. So that probably could have been gnawed out. And with the ratings, the colors maybe could have been different, but I really did enjoy interacting with the dashboard. I like the way you used the food to distinguish the food from the microbrews. I thought that was cool. And visually it gave me an idea of how close things were to each other and all that different stuff. And I did like the way that once I understood the 2.0, I did like the way you sorted the miles, all those different things from closest to furthest. I liked your title, how you did the beers better. It's perfect. The only person I've seen do titles like that is David. And I would ask David to create those titles for me because I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I really love that. So that's it for me.
It's an area chart, Sean.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm still not good at it.
Really quick, I wanted to say one thing about the icons. So Salman, you had that beer glass in the top right-hand corner, which did played the exact same purpose of the 2 icons that Julie has here. But I think like the intuitiveness of the icons that Julie chose is a little bit clearer. Your beer glass definitely fits the theme, but people might have just thought it was decoration. So for what it's worth.
Yep.
Also,
and I'll say that, Dave, I did. I thought it was a decoration. So my bad.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess my feedback is kind of similar to what Dave was saying, where it took me a while to realize that the microbrewery and brew pub was actually kind of the legend over here. I don't know why, it just didn't intuitively happen for me. But I liked the logos that you had, and I thought they were very transparent, where I almost didn't need the legend. I was like, oh, that's food, that's beer, that's both. And I kind of knew that, but I guess there was kind of that, I kind of found that later on, and I was like, oh, that would have been kind of probably better for me to look at than trying to like dig through the graph before actually seeing the legend. And then the other thing too, I would say is I almost just kind of, because of that kind of real estate, I almost kind of wanted more, like when I click on that Yelp review, maybe I get more details of the place, and you had the contact information, which was really helpful. But I kind of almost like wanted to see a little bit more of like, maybe the list, expands and tells me, a little bit more about the place or something. But I kind of found I would get to a certain area, I saw the Yelp reviews, and then I kind of wanted just a little bit more analysis, I guess, is where I was kind of a little bit struggling. But overall, I really liked it. I did kind of struggle a little bit with the color palette. It took me a while to realize when I would click on something that was the yellow versus the brown and black. But yeah, I really appreciate it. I really liked the background that you kind of kept it. You brought in a picture, but you made it very transparent where it's not overtaking the background, because a lot of times, there'll just be an image and I can't even focus on the graphs because of that. Or, someone brings in a white background on the table, so I can't even see the picture. I like that you brought in that transparency. And I think that's really where you kind of let the graphs kind of tell you that, but you also kind of have the background to assist with what the story was. So I really did appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I really, the thing, I love this viz. I saw this and it's like, okay, this is like so clean. I clicked on the overlay, and that was just that's an awesome touch. Such an easy viz to use. There was like, I didn't have any questions really with clicking around, and you know, all of the questions that I had were pretty much answered, just because it was easy to use and clean and concise. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Very, very well done.
JJ, sorry for putting you at the end every time. You had to kind of try to reiterate what everybody said.
Yeah, no, it's great because it's just like, well, you know, makes my job easy.
We'll know better for next time.
Plus a little bit more.
All right, Julie, any parting comments or anything final to share with the group?
No, I just thank you. I really appreciate the feedback. It's like you look at this and then I love throwing it out there to get people's feedback, because sometimes what I think is so intuitive, you know, is not as clear. I really do appreciate all the feedback, and it's only going to just make every, you know, viz going forward even better. So I really appreciate all of it. Thank you.
Of course. All right, so I guess like the big thing here that I'm hoping everybody kind of takes away is that I guess for the 3 finalists, did you learn something doing this?
Absolutely.
Only Salman, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
The answer that I'm going for is yes.
No, I did too.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's been around a while, but I've never used Viz and Tooltip before, so it was a good opportunity to put that into practice.
Good call. Yeah, so I think that's the main thing here, right? So yeah, I have some beer to somehow try to get to you, and some lovely Tableau gifts, but I think like the big thing here is that it's an opportunity to kind of stretch your comfort zone, do things that you don't do. Not everybody has a big call to use maps in Tableau for work. You know, the data's a little bit maybe fun, especially if you like beer. You know, you can really come up with that story that, you know, might not be the top of mind focus when you're creating something for work. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, had some fun doing it. And for everybody else that didn't participate, hopefully this has kind of encouraged you. Maybe you looked at this and said, man, I could have done it better, or that's really interesting. Maybe I would think about the data this way. Like I said, we want to do another one of these Viz games. It's been a lot to produce, but it was really fun for me at least, to go through and judge the Vizes and see how everybody, given the exact same data set, what they bolted onto it from other data sets perspective, and how they kind of like tackled the several different questions you could ask of the data in different ways. So congratulations, everybody. I encourage everyone to participate going forward. I might stop being a co-lead so I can participate next time, especially if the prizes are as good as they were this time. All right. Anybody else on the leadership team have anything to wrap this?
I have a question. I'm kind of putting the co-leads on the spot, but is there something that you think you might have done as kind of a dashboard with this data, that when you're kind of thinking about it? I know I was thinking of a beer recommender. Like I would kind of like to put a beer I know I like in St. Louis and find similar ones or similar breweries, was kind of what my goal would have been. Kind of like, I think there was the Grass is Always Greener one from like a couple Iron Vizes ago, where you kind of put a city and it kind of helped you find places like that or different. But I kind of wanted a recommender dashboard, but.
Yeah, I would say this wasn't fair. This isn't fair for us to answer this question, because we have the advantage of having seen all the Vizes, and now we have questions. 2 big ones came to my mind as I was going through this. So first of all, for me, I have to eat and drink gluten-free, and so I really want to explore this data set and figure out what breweries serve beers or beverages, whether it's cider beer or whatever, that's gluten-free, and what do their gluten-free menus look like. So that was one question that popped up for me. But the second one is, a lot of these microbreweries, they brew their stuff, and then other breweries or other restaurants in the area might serve those brews as well, not just the ones that were in this data set. So I would like to combine it with a data set that shows what's on tap at different places, and find out, if I find out there's a beer at Exit6 Brewery that I want to drink, where can I get that other than Exit6 Brewery?
It's 2 miles away, Ryan.
2 miles away.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm never going to live that down.
No, I think Lauren got closest to the questions I would have asked. I really enjoyed the 4 bar charts, and like I said, I think the most frustrating thing for me was that they didn't all 4 talk to each other. And it kind of goes to what Elsa was saying, like whether it's Beer Advocate or Untapped or something like that, how do the beer ratings play in, versus Yelp? Because Yelp is it's a combined thing. So maybe it's about service and food, but maybe I just want to go have a good beer. So how do I find the best IPA? So I think I would have approached it like in hunt of the best blank beer. But to each their own.
That's the great thing about this. We can all come up with our own questions and build our own dashboards. And I might do it anyway, just because.
Yeah, and not to cut off Sean or JJ. If you guys have any comments, feel free to share them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was gonna go more the direction of either the either through Google or Yelp, of what is the experience at those at the breweries. What are they like? Because me personally, if I'm gonna go out, it's usually centered around live music. And if I'm gonna be going out for a whole day to a brewery, I would prefer live music and a place that's dog friendly. So I know that they have like those options of like, what's I guess accommodations, maybe that's not the correct term, but you know what I'm saying? Like what's available, what's I guess allowable at each brewery, because those factors play into my decision. You can find beer that's drinkable anywhere. And as we saw in, I believe Lauren's dashboard, that basically every brewery has an IPA. So that's why I'm not, super loyal to one brewery, because I can find an IPA anywhere.
Yeah, and that's the same for me. Since I'm not a big beer drinker, I'm looking more for atmosphere, music, and things like that. So that's how the Yelp ratings work for me.
All right, let's go ahead and go through 2021. Sean, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready. So I don't know if anyone said it yet, but Happy New Year to everyone, and bye-bye to 2020 and hello to 2021. So basically, I want to talk about the things to look forward to in 2021. We want to put the rest of our meetings out there. So we're going to continue bi-monthly meetings. This is our first meeting for 2021. The next meeting is going to be in March, and we have not came up with an exact date, maybe around the same time in March. Then May, July, September, and November. And we will put the dates out there as we get closer to that time frame, and we'll broadcast things out the same way with the splash page, put it out there on LinkedIn and all those different things. All right, Dave, go to the next one. And for our meetings, as we plan those, look forward to in-tool demos. I believe we did some of those things in 2021 as Tableau released new versions of the software. We'll talk about new features. We try to gear things towards the community. I believe last year we did something on COVID. So we'll look around the St. Louis area, see if we can gear the data towards community. And we always look for features from local companies. We've had people speak from, Express Scripts, RGA. So we're always looking for the things that you guys are working on in the different organizations that you work in. We had the Q code out there earlier. So if you want to be a guest speaker and you want to talk about some of the things that you're doing at your local company, feel free to reach out to us. It's a safe environment, and we're always open to new things. And I'm sure everyone will find the content informative and interesting. Go to the next one, Dave. Yep. So that's right on time. Again, call for speakers. If there's a feature that you would like to give us the demo and show us how you're using it in your organization, scan this Q code and fill it out and let us know. And I'm sure everyone has something awesome to share with the group. So again, thanks to the participants tonight. Thanks to everyone who participated in our first Viz games. So again, look forward to the summer of 2021. We're going to have another Viz game. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. And now we're looking forward to hopefully sometime this year we'll get to meet in person. I like the virtual world, but I also like meeting people in person and all those different things. I like the food. So, and I can get out the house. So hopefully we'll get to network in person. And during the time that we meet, we will look at inviting different Zen masters to guest speak. We had a couple guys speak last year, and I thought that went over really well. And hopefully with 2021, we will have an in-person Tableau conference. And if that happens, we'll have a St. Louis TUG meetup at TC21. And as always, we are always looking for you guys for feedback. So Dave, do we have a Q code where people can scan that and give us the feedback and more? Looking forward to 2021 again. I'm happy it's here, and I'm looking forward to the good things we're going to do this year.
I'll throw
So,
the feedback code onto LinkedIn or the QR or the feedback link.
Okay. So do we have any questions about any of our plans for 2021? If not, again, thanks for everyone for attending tonight. Thanks for congratulations again to all of our winners. Really great visits. Dave, anything you would like to add?
I'm going to kick it to Elsa.
Yeah, yeah. We're going to do some breakout rooms, but since we do have a small enough group, if you want to stick around the next 15 minutes, I know that the people that made the dashboards are going to kind of be here. So if you have questions on what they did, or if there's maybe something that you want to get a little bit more detail on, we'll all kind of stick around for the next, 15 minutes or so. So please feel free to stay on instead of breaking us out into breakout rooms. I thought that'd be kind of easier. So thanks everyone for coming.